Happy New Year. Welcome to Got Clutter, Get Organized, the conversation, the first episode for 2024. I am so excited to be here with you today. So, in this segment, I'm just going to be kind of sharing with you some strategies to help you with a lot of the different New Year's resolutions, New Year's goals that you've set for yourself, and how you can tackle them, how you can get organized, and how you can just truly feel like you are better managing your home, your office, as well as your life. So let's get started. Now, the first thing is let's talk about time because in all of these things, you are going to have to set aside time, whether you want to get organized, whether it's the house, whether it's the office, or just whether it's your life. So, one of the things that I always do, which I love to do, is I always sit down and do a weekly planning session. And a lot of you may have already heard it. It's a planning session with Janet. I sit down each week and decide what I need to do when I need to do it. And the reason I started doing it was because I was really beginning to, and I actually was. I was in that routine that my mother was. Every Saturday, she would do everything because she worked during the week. So she would do her laundry and she would do her food shopping. And then we would go to another store, maybe to pick up a few items. And then she would do all this cooking and then she would do all this cleaning. I wanted to do something else on my weekends beside all that. So what I do now is when I plan, okay, what's a realistic day for me to actually go grocery shopping? Because sometimes I start my day later in the afternoon when I'm doing trainings. What is a good day when I can do laundry? Because maybe I do have to do a early morning training, so maybe I can do laundry in the afternoon after that. Of course, I always set aside time to do meal planning. We're going to talk about that in a few. But then there's other things that I have to do and I get to do, I should say. So it's just about me balancing out so I'm not constantly doing every single thing on my day off. And they said an hour of planning saves you 3 to 4 in execution. But in a shorter span of time, just 15 minutes, 15 minutes the night before will save you an hour for the next day. 15 minutes of planning will help you have a smooth morning routine because you'll know where your car keys are, the house keys are, the shoes are. You'll already have an idea of what you're going to wear. But also, you can take some of that time because maybe you don't need 15 minutes. And then actually before you end your workday officially log off, sign off, is take a few minutes just to clear your workspace as well as be strategic about what you can focus on the next day. Because sometimes, like a lot of us, those calendars, those meetings pop up. So it's just being a little proactive and knowing, okay, I thought I was only have one meeting. I've got 3 meetings. So this is how I need to plan my day. So 15 minutes saves an hour saves 3 to 4. And also look at the tools you're using. Is a digital calendar enough for you? Is a planner enough for you? Some people use a combination of both. I know I do. I love my digital calendar because it allows me to see everything that I need to see at a glance. But I also like my planner because it allows me to plan things better and it allows me to kind of see a list of what I need to stay focused on. So, for those of you looking like, you know what, I need to better manage my time. Hopefully, those strategies will help you. Now, another one of the biggest resolutions is we want to be healthy. And again, that incorporates some planning because you're going to have to plan some time to exercise. You're going to have to plan some time to eat healthy, which means some meal planning. And meal planning is not that bad. I started doing meal planning because my pressure was so high, I was almost near stroke. And I said, I need to be proactive. So scheduling a few hours early Saturday morning, cooking everything. So the rest of the week, all I have to do is go in the refrigerator and reheat. Just saves me so much time, but also actually it saves me money as well. And exercising too. Do you want to go out and exercise? Do you want to stay in the comfort of your home and exercise? My business coach shared with me that she basically dresses the night before, gets to bed, and then she rolls out bed, go and goes to the gym. She said because then she doesn't have anything preventing her from getting her exercise in. But also, if healthy, being healthy is something that you definitely want to focus on. There's a few other things that sometimes we kind of overlook. Sometimes we overlook our lunch breaks or our breaks in general. And those are moments of self care for us each and every day, specifically those work days, because it gives us a moment, first of all, to pause because we're constantly in front of a screen, a computer screen, or some type of screen, and our eyes are able to just rest, but then also we are allowed to refuel ourselves so we can do and work the rest of the day. So think about that in the new year. If you're one of those people, oh, Janet, I have too much work. I cannot work. I cannot eat. I just can't take the time out. But you have to take the time out because you're worth it. And also because it will help give you that energy that you need to work throughout the day. So we talked about time, making sure you look at your tools, making sure you schedule time to plan, looking at our health, making sure that if that's a focus, making sure you schedule time not only to eat those snacks, and I mean those breaks, those snacks, those lunches, but also exercise, also making sure you sleep, because that's an issue as well sometimes with some people that I have conversations with. But the next thing is, let's talk about budgets and money. And I'm not necessarily going to go into that because there's so many other expertise available for you. And if you haven't listened to the interview with Shantae Copeland, you need to. But let's talk. But one of the things you can start by just organizing things, because sometimes we don't really know what's going on, what's coming in, what's going out, because everything is all scattered. This is a great time to get started. Tax season is upon us. So why wait until the last minute? Why not, first of all, get a jump start on organizing everything from last year, but then also setting up a system for the new year so that when you need information, whether it's a statement, whether it's a receipt, you will have some order. And then also you can scan things. So whatever works for you. So making sure those are in order, because whether you rent, whether you own, you might have medical expenses, there's all different kinds of things that you need to keep track of. So think about that as well. So now we've talked about time, we've talked about health, that's a big one. We talked about finances and really just kind of making sure that paperwork is in order. But let's talk about our life stuff, the estate stuff. Because a lot of times when I go work with people, that information, whether it's a life insurance policy, the investments that you have, maybe the properties that you have, it's kind of scattered. Organize it because it will make it so much better for those who may have to look through it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're no longer here. It could just mean, you know what, I need somebody to look through that because right now I'm not able to. So do that. Kind of look through and see how you need to organize. Do you need to update it? When was the last time your will was updated? Because, maybe when you first started that will, you only had one property, but now you've got four and five. Do you need to increase some insurance policies? Those are some things that sometimes we need to really ask ourselves at the beginning of the year in order to make sure our affairs are in order. Do you have an executive? Do you have a different list of things that you want people to do, you know, in the event you are no longer here? And I just want to kind of go back to the previous thing about the budget. Are you paying for storage? Because they said on average it's about $1,100 a year. Are you paying for storage for stuff that you no longer use, no longer need, don't even remember what is in there? Out of sight, out of mind. Because 80% of the stuff we keep, we never reference again. So that might be an area that you need to tackle as well. So finally, I want to just kind of give you a strategy on really getting organized, how to get started, how to get things going. Because sometimes you can just feel so overwhelmed, like, okay, Janet, I want to get organized in the new year, but I don't even know what to do, how to get started. So first thing is just breathe. Just breathe. Get out a pen, get out your tablet, get out some note paper, and just go from room to room and do an assessment because that's what I do. I come in and I do an assessment and also look at it the way it is. And I say that because a lot of times when I come over, people are like, "Oh, I got to clean up." No, I want to see the way it is. Because if I come in and see shoes by the door, then I know there needs to be a system by the door. Or if I see and I look into an entry closet and realize that, nothing else can fit in there, then that means, maybe there needs to be some purging or maybe a new system needs to be put in place. But just go from room to room. Okay, I need the shoes by the door to be a little bit more organized. I need all of the accessories to all the technology and equipment we have to be a little bit more organized in the family room. Oh my, I want my countertops clear. I want underneath the bathrooms. Just write everything down. Once you do that, then you go back and say, okay, what is a priority for me right now? You know what? I want to have a smooth morning routine, but I want to come home and not see the pile of shoes. So that may be something you want to focus on. Or maybe you do want to be able to see your countertops, and that will relieve your stress. So begin to just kind of prioritize. Stick to one area and don't go from area to just stick to one area. So make your list, make your priorities of that list, prioritize, and then what you want to do is just focus on one area. Purge what you don't need. Toss, recycle, get rid of. Because again, 80% of the stuff we keep, we don't reference again. And also just purge before you purchase. I know sometimes you open up those doors, you look in those rooms, you see so much stuff, you're thinking you have to run off and get all these containers, and not necessarily so. So just make sure that you purge before you purchase because you want to, trash stuff, recycle stuff, donate, give away. Once you do that, then you organize what's left. And don't get caught up in perfectionism either, because that can happen as well. Because you think, oh my goodness, I need all the slim hangers, I need all the containers, I need all the cute labels. No, you do not. The most important thing is organizing is one. It's not about being neat, it's about being able to find things, but also it's being able to find things the first time you look. So no matter what it may look like in regards to the labels, but if you look in that container and you can find what you're looking for the first time, then that is the goal. So recap time. Number one, just make sure you find a tool that really helps you better manage your time. And also 15 minutes of pre-planning saves you an hour the next day, and an hour of planning saves you 3 to 4. Schedule time to be healthy, whether exercising or meal planning, making sure you organize all the financial paperwork, whether you do it digitally or whether you do it physically, making sure all of the paperwork related to your estate is up to date and in order. And of course, just making sure whether you spend 15 minutes here and there or an hour a week focusing on getting organized, because the goal is to be able to put your hand on something the first time you look. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this segment. Got some exciting guests coming up, so stay tuned. And also make sure, if you haven't already done so, to register for the upcoming Jumpstart 2024 Organized. It's a free webinar, so make sure the links are below. So, again, Happy New Year. And until next time, you have a clutter-free day.